y'all. Nature Girl 30 here. And I know it's been a while since I've actually done a Q&A, but honestly, y'all, here I am with another Q&A. I know I didn't do it last week, but I'm going to do it this week, and I know I have some questions that I haven't done like about a week ago, so I'm going to try to get them in as much as I can. So let's get started with these questions. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for sending them to me. And the first set of questions comes from Final Limits. My biggest supporter, dude, you are awesome. How how often do you work out, and how long in hours or minutes? I don't work out that much anymore. I used to work out about an hour a day on a treadmill, running for about maybe sometimes 30 minutes. And then I end up doing like some sit ups and some push ups and maybe some weights. And I used to do it for a full hour, but I don't really do it that often anymore because my job itself is pretty physical. So occasionally I'll do yoga or maybe stretch. Um, what do you eat pre or after a workout? I don't really have an eating regimen, nor am I on a diet. I believe that the Lord put food on this earth for us to enjoy. So if I really want to have something to eat, I'll eat it. I won't really worry so much about calories. If I want to have barbecue, I eat barbecue. If I want to have a hamburger, I eat a hamburger. If I want to have a sandwich, whatever, I'll eat it. No problem at all. I even eat Oreos. And I don't feel bad about it at all. I just enjoy it. That's all I do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Ever gone a day or two without sleeping straight? No, I haven't. Not since college. Um, what made you say? Okay, what made you say I'm done with TNA and never watching this garbage again? Mostly it's because it's pretty much a cut and paste version of the WWE. The storylines are similar, the characters are similar, the wrestlers are darn right similar, or similar. Either or, you got wrestlers coming straight from WWE. You got the storylines the same. It's in the same way. It's just they're not original. If they were original and they had original players with the original storyline and six-sided ring pretty much every night, I wouldn't mind watching it because it's something different. It's not the copy and paste as WWE is, and I would love to see that more. But unfortunately, since they're a huge juggernaut and everybody's watching them now, they're thinking that copying them will get more people to watch them, and that's not the case. And I'm hoping that become a little bit more original, but I haven't watched them in a while, so maybe things have changed. Um, why is WWE better for you than TNA, even though WWE is a steaming pile of crap with their horrendous booking of Cena and many other storylines? Honestly, like I've said many times before, the WWF slash WWE has been in my blood for many years. Like seriously, I have been a huge fan since I was 6 years old when during the golden era of WWF, and I love it for that reason, for the tradition. Something my uncle kind of gave me when he was still alive, and it stuck with me, and that's why I personally like it. I don't really so much care about the storylines. Sure, the storylines can be horrendous and stupid, and I'm tired of Cena being booked as Superman. But besides all that, they do have interesting characters, and they are trying to build up the future. Hence the streak ending, and then pretty much the rise of Roman Reigns, as well as Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. So obviously they're trying to bring up the future. So it's not totally that bad. But for me personally, it's all about tradition. But yeah, man, great question. But I mean, even if it's bad, knowing me, I'm gonna still watch it. Your next question for me is this. If you had to choose, which finisher would you have performed on you? Stone Cold Stunner or Rock Bottom? Neither, because both may be painful. What did you think of Bray Wyatt when he was Husky Harris? I didn't really care much for the character, but I only saw maybe a few glimpses of his character when he was at FCW at that time. But honestly, I didn't really watch it that often, so I didn't really have a chance to really get into his character. But when I did see him perform, he was really good at what he did. But now he's still not so bad, but I feel like he's holding back a lot more as Bray Wyatt. That's just me personally. How does it feel to have this many Q&As out? Honestly, it feels weird. Like it really does. It's kind of cool at the same time. I never thought that I would still have people sending me questions. And I never thought that I would still have the same supporters sending me questions pretty much every week, and especially you, File Limits. You are like awesome, dude. Seriously, you are awesome. You have been my biggest supporter since the very beginning, and I thank you. Seriously. And I thank everybody that sends me these questions because I want to continue doing this for as long as I can because it's awesome. My next set of questions comes from Nintendo Fanboy 1988. What do you see Vince in 30 years from now? Will he still be alive? Or if so, will he still be the owner of the company? No. He's grooming Triple H to be the next guy to take over his company. Not so much Stephanie. And there's probably a reason why that Stephanie is not going to be the full owner because she's the McMahon. And McMahon kind of lets things go to their head. I'm not saying that she's not the sweetest person in the world. I don't know her. I have a lot of respect for her as a strong businesswoman. But I will say this: he is grooming Triple H to run the company, and Stephanie's gonna probably be at his side, and she's gonna be they're gonna be co-owners more likely. So I think he's gonna give up his ownership and give it to Triple H, and they're gonna probably be co-owners of the company. But I really feel that Triple H is going to be the next guy to run it, and Vince is gonna take a step back and retire and chill out. He's in his 60s, close to 70s now, and he can't really do the things he used to do anymore. Um, have you watched the premiere of Girl Meets World on the 27th? Yes! And if so, what do you think? Yes! I love that show. I love it. It's like I was a huge fan of Boy Meets World when it was during the whole TGIF thing in the 90s. It was awesome. Seeing Fred Savage grow up to be him being a teenager, to him going to college, marrying Topanga, and it was awesome. But then seeing Girl Meets World, even though it's the same formula, it works because they're in the same school that he used to be in when he was a teen, and now his daughter's going to the same school. It's a great formula. I don't understand why they're trying to get a love interest for her so early. Not only that, the love interest that they have for Corey's daughter goes better with her best friend Maya than Riley, his daughter. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But either or, they have Farkle that's supposed to be taking the place of Minkus, even though I think Minkus is way cooler than Farkle. But either or, great chemistry of the cast, great story, great everything. And it's like, even though it's a wash, rinse, repeat of old, it still brings back memories for me, and I love it. Seriously, I love it. They did it well. Whoever wrote the story, thumbs up. Like, seriously, thumbs up for me. And I still watch that show. I enjoy it. I really do. For those that didn't watch Girl Meets World and knows about Boy Meets World, watch the show. It's awesome. How many divas do you think Vince has got in bed? Got them into bed, and name them all, current, past, and future. I don't really think that anybody would screw Vince. Like, seriously. Okay, I don't think Trish would, because Trish, I doubt Trish would. I can't. The only person I can imagine him literally like having a good night in bed with is Mae Young. Like, seriously, I can imagine him literally going to town on Mae Young. I can imagine that. Like, seriously. Not so much Moolah, because Moolah has standards. Mae Young is the type of woman that just has fun. For crying out loud, she had a hand with Mark Henry, so I know she probably does something with Vince. And Vince thinks she's a great kisser. But I can't imagine anybody else. I really can't. I can't. People may say Trish Stratus, but no. No, I don't think he's ever touched a diva. Maybe Dawn Marie. Maybe. But honestly, the only person I can see is Mae Young. Seriously. But yeah, great question, man. Great question. Do you believe do you believe that when Vince dies, WWE will get better? Thinking that he'll die is kind of harsh, but if he retires, I don't know. Because let's put it this way, Vince McMahon's kind of in the back burner right now, and Triple H is running it, and it's all about the authority. And it's kind of doing the same thing that Jeff Jarrett did for TNA. So is it going to be better? I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see like what restraints that they'll let up. But for right now, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Do you think the main character from Girl Meets World, Rowan Blanchard, that's her real name, looks like AJ Lee or something similar? No, I don't think she looks like AJ Lee. Not at all. Okay, maybe AJ Lee's daughter. If maybe a little bit. Riley, actually, I'm gonna call her Riley, but either or, she has a little bit of similarities, not completely, but a little similarity. So maybe, but not totally. If she had a daughter, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, good question, man. Do you believe in people who hunt animals like rabbits and squirrels, or even dangerous wildlife, tigers and lions, are right or wrong for if they do? Um, let's be real here. I got no beef with anybody that want to hunt for food. Like if you want to hunt for your family and there's nothing on the table and you got to kill animals to eat, that's fine. That's fine because you're putting that animal to get use. You're and some and I know most. I mean, I live in the South, and there are people that live in the mountains that actually do live off the land. And where I live at now, they live off the land. That's what they do. They hunt. And they have hunting clubs, and what they do is if they don't use the meat, they donate the meat to the needy. And I'm fine with that. And they use actually the skin to for actual use, the skin for either hats or pelts or whatever. They use the material that they have. They use the meat. I'm all for that. I have respect for people that do that and don't waste food. But for those that game hunt and just hunt for antlers and just hunt for the head or the rack of an animal, it's something that I don't particularly like, but that's their preference. I'm all about using God's resources. I'm all about using the materials that's in front of you, especially if it's needed. So I have no ill will towards anyone that actually hunts for game, even though I don't agree with that. But I will say that I have respect for people that actually use the resources that's in front of them. That's just me. I'll just say it in that way. But yeah, great question, man. Um, your final question for me is, who was your childhood crush celebrities? Um, Let me see. I will say that I had a crush on Chris Cross. And I think that every child, every teen my age would have a crush on Chris Cross, as well as all the guys from New Edition and Jodeci. Huge crush on. I had a huge crush on KC for a while, and Devontae. Yeah, yeah, for a very, very, very long time. And LL was hot back in the day. Seriously, he was hot back in the day. And Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yeah, I like big dudes, and I cannot lie, and I will not go into that whole rhyme because I do not rap well. But either or, yeah, I had a crush on Sir Mix-a-Lot. I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hide that. But anyway, great question, man. And let's move on from there. Wow. Final limits. You actually sent me 2 sets, but I will definitely get to that on the next Q&A. My next Q&A question comes from Randy. I guess Randy Buta. I hope I said it right. Randy Buta. Um, if you got diagnosed with cancer, you or a loved one or from your family, how would you cope and what would the initial reaction be? Sorry for the tough question. Um, Honestly, it would. I don't really know. I know that it would be difficult to handle, and especially if a family member went through that, it would be really difficult to handle. So, I know that when I found out that my homegirl, my best friend, actually had cancer, I don't know. I didn't know how to take it. I was just kind of in shock, you know. But I know that she was my homegirl, and I was gonna stick by her no matter what. For her dark days and through her good days, she was gonna be my homegirl for life. Period. And it was really tough to hear that. But I knew that if I reacted in front of her, no matter how much I wanted to, and I probably did react, because it was so far back. Thank God she's been in remission for 9 years. But still, it was really tough to hear. So if that happened to me or somebody that I cared about, it would be really hard to handle. But you would try your best not to crack in front of them. But I'm gonna be real, it would be hard for me to. I would practically give her a hug and probably be boo-hooing on her shoulder. And that's probably something I wanted to do. But in the end, the Lord blessed her. She came out okay, and she's been in remission for 9 years. But yeah, man, if that happened to you, I'm really sorry. I really am. But all I can say is keep your head up. If you know somebody that's going through the same thing, definitely keep your head up. I know that sounds cliche, but that's all I can say. But yeah, keep your head up, man. Um, what made you decide to do YouTube videos and what inspired you? Honestly, I've always wanted to do YouTube videos for a very long time, but I was paranoid of doing it. The first time I really decided to do it was when I lived in Florida. But I had a roommate at the time, and then you know how roommates get paranoid that people find where you live and then come and rob you and stuff. And then when I moved out and moved back home to my parents' house, it was hard to do it because my parents, thought the same way. So that's why the first video that I ever did, it was kind of loud, but then the rest were quiet because I did it at home and I didn't want anyone to know, especially my nephew who would pretty much interrupt me at every 5 seconds. But anyway, what inspired me to do it was Off the Rope Show. I liked Off the Rope Show because those guys had camaraderie. They were true wrestling fans. They knew the history back, fronts and sideways, and they enjoyed the product, especially when they were together. And also the British Fist. I liked the British Fist. I thought they were an awesome group. I really did like Daniel and NJ when they actually did them together. I thought it was awesome. So, plus also when my homeboy Big D, he used to be a commentator for me when we were on the phone watching Raw. But when his schedule got a little bit too hectic, he couldn't answer his phone anymore. He couldn't watch Raw anymore. So I'm like, okay, I have to get this out. There's so many things that I want to say about this show that I disagree with. So what am I gonna do? So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do a video. Screw it. I'm just gonna do a video. I'm gonna have a background, an anonymous background, so nobody can tell where I'm at and whatever. And I'm just going to do it this way. And the first thing I did was about Money in the Bank because it was just when they decided to do Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view, and that's when I actually did it. And I did it, put it up there, and I had no idea what to call myself. Like seriously, I didn't want to call myself for my real name, but I knew that I love nature, and knew I loved the Nature Boy. So I'm a girl, so I'm like Nature Girl, and I was 30 at the time, so I'm like Nature Girl 30. Kind of works. And somehow it stuck. And I had no idea that anyone would respond to me and even look at the video, look at what I've done. And not only did I have a video response, I ended up getting my first subscriber and my first comment all at the same time. And I was like, it was phenomenal. But yeah, if you have an opinion or if it's something that you like doing and you want to make a video of it and be a bit creative, then shoot, do a YouTube video. I mean, who knows? There'll be somebody that's watching you and might agree with what you're saying. And then after that, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna make so many great friends. Like seriously, making YouTube videos. Like I never knew that Dustin and I, or Dreamboy899, I had no idea that we would be as cool as we are. Like there are times that he calls me, and there are times I call him, and we have conversations back and forth. Vinty Kid, oh my gosh, John, he is my homie. I love him. And Steffi Sunshine is probably the coolest chick I've ever met, ever. As well as Night Dreamer. I love Night Dreamer. She's like awesome. She will always be awesome. And I mean, seriously. And I never ever thought that I would ever make friends across the pond. Like I never thought that I would be really, really close and cool with NJ, as well as being friends with Daniel. And talking to him and on Skype, as well as talking to NJ on Skype. I never thought I would have so many friends, seriously, from doing this. So if you want to do it, do it. And I've chatted enough on it. I'm like at the 18-minute mark. Good gravy, man. But anyway, let's keep going here. I'm gonna try to get one question in, and then the rest I may have to put on the next Q&A. Well, I'll try to get them all in. My next set of questions comes from Jack Thrice. What did you think when Finley was? What did you think when Finley was a face in the WWE 2008 2009? Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Finley was a heel. He'll always be a heel to me. Seriously, I never really liked it at all for him being a face. What did you think when Finley's vignette started showing on SmackDown, and he eventually made his debut in January 2006? It was great to see him back. It really, really was. I was a fan of Finley. I really was a fan of Finley. He was true to who he was. Now he's a WWE official. I'm not sure what he does, but I know I saw him out there at one time, And I don't know if anybody recognized him, but yeah, he was out there pushing back Randy Orton. I'm like, I really don't know what he does now, but it's awesome that he's still in WWE. He's just not wrestling anymore. But yeah, I love seeing him come back. Okay, and my final set of questions. Well, actually, my final question, Lonnie Lowe, you sent me two, just like Final Limits. I'm gonna answer one of them, and I'm just gonna answer this one. Um, why does Mr. Griffith always post videos of tribute to black women only? Ask him. I have no idea. Why does Mr. Griffith always shove his black pride down our throats? And why is all his videos about a black man and black woman, and why does he not like white people? Honestly, for any questions that you have for Mr. Griffith, by all means send it to his YouTube inbox, especially either in a video response or send it to him as an email. Like, send it to his YouTube videos. His YouTube channel. I have no idea how to answer that because I'm not Mr. Griffith. But thanks so much for answering that question for me. Well, thanks so much for sending me that question, and I answered it to you. Well, you get the idea. Thank you for sending me questions. But guys, I'm at the 21-minute mark. Thank you so much for sending me these questions, and by all means, send me more, either at my YouTube inbox or on Twitter at RKH30 #NatureGirlQ&A. It's NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. Later.